There we go. And I gotta step out of... And I have to not be Blue Mage. An unsettling change has come over Charlian, but together we will divine the underlying cause for the forum's callousness. As I mentioned before, however, questioning the counselors directly is a fruitless endeavor. They seem to have already come to a consensus as to what and how little they are willing to divulge. Which is why I began scouring Charlian's archive of historical records for any hint of a connection to the final days. Suffice it to say that progress has been slow. There are only so many dusty pages one can skim in a day. But now that I have had this band of willing reinforcements, the search should proceed all the swifter. Let us reconvene outside Numenon, shall we? Exit the annex to the right and you'll find the archives on the western edge of the woods. Oh no, we're going to have to read. I don't care what they say. Reading can be deadly to your health. I mean, just look at us what happened to the Great Gooball Library when we were there.
Oof.
What do you mean, oof? You were there.
I was there. And it was a big oof.
Exactly. Hey, Kier, quick question.
Yes.
How do I play Paladin again?
You turn on tank stance, you swing your range attack at things, and then you do, AoEs over and over.
Gotcha.
Oh, we must not be in the same instance. I don't see you.
Oh, yeah, I think I was in instance... No, I'm in instance 2 now.
Yeah, I'm in instance 1. Damn.
Rip. Can we change that?
If we join the same party, and then, somebody leaves and comes back, maybe? But it's not guaranteed.
Oh no, we can only see the current instance. I don't think there's a way to switch current instance.
Yeah, the only way is luck, really. If you're in the same party, I think it tries to put you in the same instance, but other than that...
We'll do it later. My directions were easy enough to follow, I hope. In any case, you stand now before the doors of Numenon, Charlian's grandest collection of books and tomes. This building is actually only an entrance, and one of many at that, for the archives of Numenon extend deep beneath the surface like the roots of a tree. The vast halls of the Great Gooball Library pale in comparison to Numenon's endless maze of subterranean chambers. Any citizen of Charlian is free to enter and peruse its shelves. Well, most of its shelves. Only Archons are afforded access to certain restricted vaults. I dispatched Stola and Raha to help investigate those. Meanwhile, Alice and Alvino will help me continue my search through the stacks open to the general public. Ah yes, what are the odds that the records on final days will be available to general public?
Probably 0.
Probably 0. Your status presents more of a problem. As a non-citizen, you are only permitted to browse the first floor here at the entrance. Even so, there should be a number of books which touch upon Charlian history or foreign policy. Your task will be to find and study the relevant publications. I promise you, a working knowledge of those subjects will make it far easier to spot the sort of clues we're looking for. Let us be about it, shall we? I told the others to meet us at the stone benches over there once they found some promising tomes. Happy reading! Oh, books. I wonder if they're gonna have us pull the Phoenix right and then try to go for loopholes or something.
Oh, also, there's a lookout point in the library.
Oh yeah, I think I got that the last time I was here.
Oh, okay.
The title on the spine reads The Story of Charlion. Read the book? Yes. Long, long ago, on an island in the Northern Sea, there lived a Rogadid man by the name of Njunkrep. Njunkrep was a student of astrology, and he divined that a flood of terrifying proportions would soon sweep over the lands of Eorzea. So it was he built a gigantic ship, assembled a crew, and set sail for that imperiled realm. The flood arrived as foretold, and to their horror the strangely churning waters drove the people towards the ocean. It was there, however, that Njunkrep's crew hauled them aboard its ark. But the danger had not passed. A towering wave approached, threatening to smash the vessel to pieces. With only moments to spare, Njunkrep wove a mighty spell of teleportation and shifted the entire ship to safety atop the Abalathia's spine. Refugees from the surrounding regions huddled there alongside them, but it was not long before the disputes over the dwindling supply of food led to violence and bloodshed. Saddened by the sight, Njunkrep gathered to him his crew and his grateful passengers and abandoned the ark to those reddened peaks. They journeyed to the coast where they built a new ship, intent upon returning to the northern seas. They landed on the beach of an island and settled upon that very spot. That settlement prospered and grew, and in time it became the city of Charlion we live in to this day. Hooray, lore! The title on the spine reads Roads of Old, the Colony.
What better way to give lore than literally just info dumping in books?
Exactly. Many years ago, on the banks of Thaliak in the Dravinian hinterlands, a Charlion colony once thrived. This settlement was originally established as a mere outpost to study the ethereal sea in the year 1311 of the 6th Astral Era. Yeah, that's Edelshire. Scholars dispatched to Eorzea found the facilities wanting, and their demands encouraged a gradual expansion in structures and services. As rumors spread of a growing community of academics, the area was further inundated with Eorzean students hoping to share in the renowned wisdom of the Charlians. 50 years later, the Forum passed a motion to recognize what had become a flourishing town as an official Charlian colony. Almost like convoy. Eorzean residents took to calling the colony itself Charlion, which led to no small amount of confusion when discussions turned to the subject of the motherland. In response, some Charlian inhabitants, if impressed for a name, would simply refer to it as Emporium. Following the exodus, however, goblins and treasure hunters claimed themselves a corner of the abandoned colony and gave it yet another name, Edelshire. The following chapter is going to introduce the most prominent features of Edelshire. The book does not seem to appear to contain additional information on the forum or cover the history of the Charlian motherland in greater detail. Ooh, that means I can read more books than required.
Yeah. Also, there's this little mammoth in a wig running around. It's adorable. It's like in a red jacket. It walked past me while I was reading one of them. I'm like, wait a second, is that a mammoth in a wig?
Oh yeah, the librarian. The one with the book, yeah?
No, he doesn't have, but the one I'm thinking of doesn't have a book. Oh, I see more now, yeah. But the one I'm talking about walked past me.
Yeah, this one right here.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah.
I guess there's 3, it looks like I'm running around and looking. Also, when you read all 3, the irrelevant books are still available to read.
Oh, nice. The title on the spine reads The Voice of a Growing City. We might be here a while. I like reading things. In the years which followed the founding of Charlion, civic policy and other matters of import were decided at the Ecclesia, a public forum which every citizen was eligible to speak. As the city's population grew, however, this format became increasingly impractical. The larger number of participants gave rise to ever longer debates, resulting in significant delays of vital resolutions. Various measures were introduced in an attempt to curtail protracted discussions, but in the year 201 of the 6th Astral Era, it was ultimately decreed that Charlion would transition to a new form of governance. The nation would now be led by a body of 99 members, citizens chosen from amongst the peers by means of a nationwide vote. Thus was the Forum, as we know today, conceived and created. An introduction to the heavens. Have you ever gazed at the skies above and contemplated the mysteries contained therein? I speak not of shifting cloud patterns, but of the vastness beyond, of the sun in the twinkling tapestry of the night. Some think the dome above us to be a finite space, yet amongst the leading thinkers of our age, one scholar's depiction of a boundless sea of stars has firmly taken root. Alas, this heavenly sea remains an unreachable, unknowable destination. There are few indeed who can explain in satisfactory detail why our own star is believed to revolve around the sun. It was the technologists of Alag who came closest to understanding the laws that govern the starry abyss. It was they who launched Dalamud and sought to expand beyond our earthbound existence. Having read their ancient ambitions, I wonder, has your interest in this field of study waxed or waned? What if I were to tell you that the eternal constellations were arranged differently in the distant past, that their positions continue to shift almost imperceptibly but measurably as we journey into the future? Would it shock you to learn that the stars drift further and further apart, and may indeed do so forever? Are you eager to learn more? This book is on the wrong subject. Search for works which contain details on the forum or mention the history of Charlian. You never know when we're going to go to space.
Next expansion?
I think we're going to go to space this expansion.
Maybe.
Forever 20 Summers. My beloved seekers of knowledge, have you ever put learning before your health and neglected to feed and rest your body as you should? I too once engaged in such foolish practices, but one night engrossed in philosophical study I had an epiphany. For all the world's mysteries that drive us to reckless abandon, we have so very few years of life in which to achieve our goals. Thus do I share with you this mantra: I am forever 20 summers young. The number itself is unimportant. You could be 19 or 23 or 40. Whatever age you are when you discover this manual, let that be the age you aspire to remain. Though through mindful, healthy living, will you extend the time available to stand upon your chosen research. Another day, another moon, another summer to grasp the greater truths you pursue. In the pages that follow, we will explore the secrets of maintaining one's physical condition from a biological, ecological, and arcane viewpoint.
I need that bow.
Stewards of Wisdom. During the chaos of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, Archon Neokret, founder of Charlian, bore witness to the madness and savagery of men brought to the brink of despair. Upon raising a settlement on an island in the northern Empty, he instructed his people thus: renounce the ways of war, and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason. The Charlians took to heart the words of their savior, and thenceforth served as stewards of wisdom. Upon foundation of accumulated learning, they built a homeland unlike any other, a nation born from strength of minds rather than strength of arms. With knowledge of economics came shrewd trading, with knowledge of agriculture came bountiful crops. Engineering brought wells and sewers, ending squabbles over water. Wealth of expertise could be bartered for wealth and coin, and the more their wisdom spread throughout the world, the more mankind as a whole would thrive. And so it was that no matter the trials and tribulations of the age, the citizens of Charlian would live by their founders' teachings. For the sake of a better tomorrow, for the sake of a brighter star, they would eschew the tools of war, and with knowledge deliver the world. You gain the fundamental understanding of the Charlian history and the foundation of the forum. Head outside to the rendezvous point and wait your companions. Give me a sec, I think I have like 2 more books to read. Nope, just one. Nope, that was it. That was the last book, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Just go in a circle. Sorry, were you waiting long? I wanted to make sure I borrowed at least a few promising volumes. Alphinote and Cryo should also be along shortly. I was delayed in a similar fashion. As far as I could see, no titles in the Archon stacks mentioned the final day specifically. so we have no choice but to start with the tangentially relevant tomes, if they are even that. At present, the plan is to skim through as quickly as we dare and share our discoveries as we make them. It would have been nice to invite everyone to the estate, plenty of comfortable places to read and a ready supply of hot tea. Oh, I was always quite fond of reading outside. But it's not about the little pleasures, is it? You miss your home. It's been difficult. After our arrival, we managed to speak with one of the family servants and ask how things were. It seems our dear father has instructed the staff that even if Alphinaud and I were to return to Charlian, we would not to be allowed across the threshold. A harsh measure indeed. I hope that our efforts to understand his position, and that of the Forum, will perhaps lead to a reconciliation. We'll mend this rift one day. I'm certain of it. And what of you, Graha? Have you been to visit your family, or do they not live here in the city? Ah, well, my situation is also somewhat complicated. I was raised in Charlian, yes, but I was born rather further away. In the southern reaches of Ilsavad, in fact. For generations, my people have dwelt in Corvos, the coastal region opposite of the island of Thavner. The Alligans founded a city in that fertile land, and by ship, brought in the subjugated tribes of the Mikote to serve as laborers. Of course, the massive earthquakes of the Fourth Umbral Calamity brought an end to the Empire's reign, and when the Fifth Calamity froze the sea solid, many of the tribes still living in Corvos braved the journey back to Eorzea. My ancestors, however, chose to remain, that they might prevent the remnants of Allagan technology from being misused. Isn't Corvos under Gallian rule? For the past 50 years, yes. Some semblance of local culture remains, as is the case for most imperial provinces, but Garlemald renamed the region Locus Amoedas. When I was a boy, a nearby town came under jurisdiction of an illustrious imperial family. The nobles of House Darnus Earl, though. That's a name I recognize. House Darnus demonstrated a singular interest in Allagan civilization, and so my tribe was forced to consider a plan of action. For some time already, voices had been raised in favor of abandoning our ancient customs. After all, the Allagan eye no longer passed to our eldest children as reliably as it once had. Fear of discovery eventually tipped the scales, and a decision was made to bury our ties to the knowledge and traditions of Allag. As the last child born with the Allagan eye, I was given over to the custody of friends and the students of Baldasion, who had me registered as a Charlian citizen. I never even considered... forgive me, it was an unkind question. Even Thancred was taken in by Archon Louisoix, was he not? Stories of adopted wives and rescued orphans are more common among Charlians than you might think. Yet, regardless of our origins, we are all provided with an equal opportunity to learn, and with sufficient perspicacity, we outsiders can even earn the vaunted title of Archon. It is exactly why I have such love for this country, and why I wish it to remain a nation in which a citizen can be proud. Here. Another good reason to get to the bottom of the Forum's stubbornness, aside from the trifling matter of our impending doom. Excuse us while we try to make some headway into these books, Green. More company should be arriving any moment now. We return with our selections. Although I must say, the pickings were quite slim indeed. Mistress Cryle has already flicked through every history book devoted to disasters, and more than a few which all barely made mention of them. As such, we'll be looking into the research papers on umbral calamities, as well as articles written by prominent forum members. Perhaps their knowledge of the final days come from an unexpected source. Speaking of which, might I ask you a few questions related to the final days? I'm the only one who didn't witness the events of Amarot firsthand, and I fear I may be overlooking critical details. My thanks. Now, where to begin? Well, first there was a giant Paolumu. First things first, what kind of a phenomenon did the ancients encounter as the final days drew nigh? Complete destabilization of creation magics. Yes, the unfolding catastrophe wrought havoc on all manner of life. The chaos extended to the ancients themselves, causing their powers of creation to spiral out of control. Fear and despair manifested in terrible, tangible fashion, meteors raining from the sky, fire erupting from the ground, indescribable abominations prowling the streets. That more or less aligns with my understanding. If only the arts of creation had survived until the present day, we might have had something substantial to analyze. To the best of our knowledge, however, those techniques were not preserved or passed on. Y'shtola surmises that the closest known magic is that of the summoning rituals promulgated by the Asians. Was there aught else of note which heralded the approach of final days? I think it was the second one, Keening Sound from the Land?
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
The third might be funny. I should have done third.
Yeah, you can always go back, like, look the dialogues for the quest up and look it up. Like, the various outcomes.
Yeah, I know.
Ah, yes, the Amarotians spoke of it, didn't they? We never did hear this sound ourselves, of course, thrust as we were into the midst of the madness. But it seems that each and every one of the catastrophes was preceded by this ominous noise. Eventually, it resounded all across the star, and not even Amarot was spared. So the ground was crying out, you say? To be considered a harbinger of doom, it must have been quite distinctive, and probably quite loud. I'll have to speak with one of Numenon's mammoths, and ask after any books which make mention of such a sound. Last but not least, would you describe how the ancients sought to quell this unprecedented calamity? What definitive action did they take? They summoned Zodiark. Yes, with Elizabeth serving as his heart. So many gave themselves in sacrifice to bring him into being. We do not know exactly how Zodiark brought salvation to the star, only that by his godlike will were the laws of nature set aright. Then, once the balance was redressed, the ancients offered up a further sacrifice to heal the ravages of final days. Lies sprouted anew, and it was these fledgling souls that they intended to render onto Zodiark, a trade that would have allowed them to resurrect the shades of loved ones absorbed by the primal. Or might have, had Venat and her fellows not manifested their opposition in the form of Hydaelyn. Thank you, both of you, for the detailed review. I feel much more confident now in my understanding of events. With all that freshly in mind, it does make me wonder what the Telophoroi truly mean when they speak of bringing back the final days. We've seen what they were doing with the towers of theirs. Is forcing people to summon primals a kind of catalyst? Are they attempting to mirror the conditions caused by unstable creation magics? Maybe they just want to crash the moon to the earth. Or are they simply using the final days as a figure of speech? Convenient metaphor for the scale of destruction they plan to unleash. But this is all just pointless conjecture at this stage. Let us return to our attention to the forum, shall we? We should keep an eye out for your Stola, but it's time we began studying these research papers. Who are you calling an assistant? I'm the last, am I? Well, my extensive research of Archon stacks have produced one or two possibly useful books. But I wouldn't get your hopes up. If you recall, Urian J learned of the source's reflections from the Giruan oracles. For its potential to cause panic and confusion, that tome was deemed apocrypha and sealed away in the Great Gubal Library. It is even less likely that the knowledge of Unsundered World, not to mention the horrors of the final days, would be left sitting on a shelf for any curious scholar to find. It stands to reason then that my colleagues, be they Archons or Councillors, should perforce be largely ignorant of the subject. Yet when you confronted Master Fortunault with knowledge of the Tillefroy and their machinations, he scoffed at the suggestion that they posed a threat. He seemed adamant that the Forum would know if the final days were truly upon us. Which only supports the conclusion that whatever privileged wisdom is guiding the Forum's behavior, it is being kept secret from the rest of the nation. Not that I mean to excuse myself from reading duty. Whether they contain mention of the final days or no, these books could yet hold something of value. You weren't thinking of leaving, were you? There's plenty of work for everyone. I just came back from reading. You labor for what feels like an age as your Stola's research assistant. Oh dear, you look exhausted. But what about your studies? Were you able to find any books on the subjects I mentioned? More or less. Then the day was well spent. Should you wish to read them again, a man at the reference desk will point you in the right direction. For the moment though, I suggest you take a well-deserved rest. We might be occupied with our research for quite some time. Ready for a tea break, Green? I know I am. Honestly, my neck and shoulders are going to calcify if I don't stretch my legs and walk around for a bit. You know the last stand down in the harbor, don't you? Come and meet me near the outside tables, and I'll treat you to the coffee. It's quite good. As long as no one gets me Archon mode. Oh right, there was Aetherite Crystal I could have just taken.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Well, now you know.
Yep.
Did you attune to it as well?
Yeah, I did that on the first day we were here.
I had to do that today.
Ah.
It's the only one I hadn't.
God, my hotbars are a mess.
You have so many.
Yep. As busy as ever, I see. How very Charlian that no other gourmet cafe has sprung up to compete for customers. Actually, this crowd gives me an idea. Before we place an order, why don't we ask a few questions and gauge the mood of the city? I'm interested to hear what the average citizen has to say about the Telophoroi. We might even learn something new. Worth a try, don't you think? Elsie is now accompanying you. Keep her at your side in order to proceed with quest objectives. You can leave Alice behind by entering a different area or by speaking with her and selecting the option to part ways. Yeah, I got one for commonly used actions, infrequently used actions, these two for rarely used actions, my bar for crafting classes, or jobs, teleports and commonly used tabs, and my other jobs. What? What is it? Can a man not enjoy a moment of private respite? If you're looking to share a table, then I respectfully request that you look elsewhere. You misunderstand it, sir. I was simply wondering if you knew of the Telophoroi. These enemies of peace have promised an end to all we hold dear and... Wait, you're that House Leveilleur girl, aren't you? And this man with you is obviously a foreigner. I've heard you are disowned for helping outsiders indulge their barbaric whims, and here you are giving truth to the rumor. I thank you to leave me be. I've not to say to the likes of you. Well, I must apologize. It was foolish of me to expect an ounce of civility from one so enlightened. Come, Green. What if we asked him after parting ways? Oh no, it will simply not let us. Quest marker is red. Yes, I don't believe I've had the pleasure. May I excuse the interruption, but we were hoping you might share your thoughts on the Telophoroi and their unconscionable plans. My goodness, if it isn't the young Miss Leveilleur. My apologies, but I work in the office of the Forum, and if word reached Master Fortunal that I was helping you... I see. We're sorry to have bothered you. Welcome, sir. What can I offer you today? Yeah, can I have a triple espresso? Wait, is that Mistress Alice I see there? My word, how long has it been? Far too long. Meet Dickon, owner of The Last Stand. I used to frequent his cafe on occasion between lessons at the studium. That seems like an age ago now. I remember hearing that you and your master Alphino set sail for Eorzea, but then you never came back. Lately there's been gossip about your father disowning the pair of you. Everything all right at home? It's complicated, and I hadn't expected complete strangers to be so familiar with our situation quite so quickly. Everyone has an opinion, it seems. Well, it is House Leveilleur. No matter how discreet Master Fortunal may have been, news of your family's doing never stays secret for long. Things being what they are, what brings you back to the city now of all times? We have questions, and only Charlian has the answers. Tell me, Master Dickon, have you heard anything about an apocalypse called the Final Days? What, like the end of the world? Nothing like that, I'm afraid. What are you here to find? Information on this apocalypse? Yes, whatever we can learn. Unfortunately, your patrons appear to be unwilling to speak with me. I wish there was more I could do to help. Maybe there is. You're Mrs. Charlian, aren't you? Then few will know your face. We should be able to pass you off as a server with none the wiser. Just finished preparing a few orders. Strike up some friendly conversation while you're setting down the food, and you might just get the answers you're looking for. Not a bad idea. I'd hate to ask, but what do you think? I've handled worse jobs. That's the spirit. Pay attention now and I'll explain where each of these dishes need to go. Tea set is for the chatty group sitting by the water's edge. Omelette is for one of our regulars, a Highlander by the name of Gisla. She's sitting at an outside table with a friend of hers. Behind him you should see a Mikote gentleman. He ordered the oven-baked lobster. Got all that? If you're not sure, just ask and I'll explain again. Good luck. Okay, first we were a fishmonger and now we're a caterer.
The odd jobs of Final Fantasy. Gotta go wash the crocodile's laundry.
Yep. Is that a thing people say?
It's something Joe Cat, like I'm referencing Joe Cat's video.
Ah.
Also, random question, your stream has, like, the partnership we're watching it get you in-game items. Did you have to opt into that?
I think it's just on by default.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but just like a few experience, EXP increasing cookies and mount if you watch enough. What will you serve? The tea set. Oh, my tea set. Lovely, thank you. Excuse me, man, have you heard about the apocalypse? Tell her for who? Sorry, never heard of them or their final days. My friends and I are somewhat uninformed when it comes to current events. Now, if you wanted to hear about ritual arcane practices of the 6th Astral Era, common or esoteric, then I'd be happy to talk your ear off.
That multi-dish meal looks so good.
What's it sitting on top of?
That I'm not quite so sure. Like, I thought maybe it was like a weird dish warmer that's extra thick, but then the first, like, dude we tried talking to earlier that was an ass, they also have a briefcase looking thing without food on top, but it also doesn't have the little sections for the plates like that one does, so I don't know.
Maybe we'll find them in furnishings one day. Ah, finally. 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's begin. No time to waste. What? The Lofroy? Ah, yes. I remember seeing the name in the latest gazette. That and some grand claim about the end of days. Same old sense as warmongering. When will these fools grow tired of spilling each other's blood? Best stay out of it, I say. The Forum made the right choice, and I fully support our decision to remain neutral. Oven-baked lobster. At last, the oven-baked lobster is mine! You have no idea how long I scrimped and saved and suffered to afford this heavenly dish.
Lobster was peasant food. Lobster was initially peasant food.
Because it's just like something random you just catch in a river? Or...
I mean, it looks like bugs. It was literally found in mud. A lot of the New World foods, as in, like, here in the US, that were discovered, either discovered or just super common here, were seen as peasant foods. So, like, squashes, for example, pumpkins, those were turbo peasant food. And people here were severely looked down upon back in Europe for eating squashes, lobster, etc.
I heard in some cases they were treated like a novelty food, like potatoes.
Later on, but initially, no.
Initially, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Final days. This is the first I've heard of it. Although that would explain why my friend has been rushed off to his feet. Must be a busy time to be a gleaner. You don't know what a gleaner is? They're collectors of a sort. Travel the world procuring things that we haven't got here in Charlian. Priceless books, unusual live specimens, and so forth. So named for those folk who trail after the reapers in the fields, picking up every grain which was missed. Aye, by all accounts, gleaning is most meticulous and a demanding profession. If these Telophoroi make good on their audacious threads, then many uncatalogued rarities could be lost forever. Why else would gleaners be buzzing about in such a frenzy? Watch the harbor and you'll see what I mean. They're carting loads in from the docks all day. Never been this hectic before, not like this. Any trouble with the customers? Were you able to get everyone talking? And they left no tips. Interesting. They seem unaware of the final days, aside from whatever vague news the cassettes are printing. Even Dickon had nothing to offer, and he's the best source of gossip in the city. If the forum does have secret knowledge, then they've done an impressive job of ensuring no one whispers it in the wrong ear. In any case, thank you for playing the part so well. Here, a cup of coffee, I promise. But let's enjoy ourselves somewhere else, shall we? Maybe behind the peristyle, away from the gossips and their wagging tongues. Yes, they should do nicely. Out of the wind and out of sight. Oh boy, time to pick up some random gossip. Oh no, it's just heartfelt moment music.
When our father disowned us, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It wasn't until much later that his words began to sink in, that I began to feel the weight of what it meant. Do you remember when the decision was made to come to Charlian? Grahas said that the Forum was determined to keep us in the dark, and that Father's venomous performance was part of that strategy, to keep us at arm's length. Perhaps it was. Father argued with Grandfather on many occasions, but never with such dismissive contempt. And when he demanded what justifies the sacrifices we make in war, I honestly didn't know what to say. Neither did Alpha know, I know, but never for one moment did I believe we had made the wrong choice. So all I could do was fume silently. It was only afterwards that I realized how childish I had been, how being stubborn and self-righteous must run in the family. If I could have just mustered a civil response, then things might have turned out differently. They must be ferrying goods to Labyrinthos.
Come again?
A vast complex beneath the island. Charlian is famous for archiving knowledge from around the world. Well, that knowledge is not preserved exclusively in dusty tomes and desiccated samples. Our living library, comprised of all manner of flora and fauna, is housed and studied within that underground facility. Still, that did seem to be an unusually large shipment. When I lived here, it was rare to even see such cargo transported by boat. Wait! Didn't you hear something in the last stand about the gleaners coming and going more than usual? Well, I think they're the ones we saw manning those boats. And gleaners answer to the Forum. If the appearance of the Telophoroi prompted this sudden burst of activity, then Labyrinthos may hold a clue as to what the Forum is planning.
Great work, Detective Alisei. Does this mean we have to swim again, or...
I mean, there's water right in front of the library, so in that.
Yeah. We should tell the others what we learned about the Gleaners. Go on ahead to Numenon, and I'll join you in a moment. Master Dickon will want his cups back. Welcome back, Green. Been for a walk and cleared your head, have you? Not exactly. We did some impromptu investigating and turned up information on the Gleaners. Makes sense. The Gleaners take their requests directly from institutions and bureaucrats, but as they say, they ultimately answer to the Forum. A sudden and significant increase in the Gleaner traffic and in cargo, it certainly gives the impression of an overarching plan being put into motion. Let us see what theory we can build from the facts. As Stoller observed earlier, Numenon's archives appear to contain no information concerning the final days. Coupled with what Green and Alice learned at the last stand, we can be reasonably sure that most Sharlayans know nothing of that particular period of ancient history. Yet my father and his colleagues are not only familiar with the final days, but are also somehow certain that the destruction being perpetrated by Tilifroy is wholly unlike these apocalyptic events. Moreover, the Forum claims to be so occupied by duty of such a pressing importance, they've saw fit to unanimously deny Eorzea's request for aid. And now the Gleaners, official agents of the state, have been mobilized on an unprecedented scale. I do not think it is a stretch to conclude that the Gleaners' recent activities are in service of the Forum's secretive ends. In which case, our next course of action seems obvious. We visit Labyrinthos and assess the situation for ourselves, and if we're lucky, the Gleaners will be far more receptive to our questions. Anything would be better than burying my head in another dusty book. I understand not everyone is the studious type. Consider this a welcome change of pace then. As for myself, there's a few more subjects I should like to research. I may join you later, but feel free to leave behind your borrowed books and be on your way. I'll see to it that each is returned to its proper place. That would be a great help. Thank you, Raha. Let's head down the stairs over there, and I'll show you where the entrance is. Ready? Labyrinthos is not too far from here, but you may find the path a bit disorienting. I'll take the lead, so stay close. Follow Alice and try not to fall behind. Off we go then. Here we are, through this door and downstairs. You did remember to attune to the shard back there, didn't you? It will make your life much easier if you need to come back in a hurry. Otherwise, we should keep moving. I did remember to do that. What's in here? Ah, this place. Ooh, chocobo keep. We're all here now, yes? I've taken the liberty of securing permission for our group's ascent. Right, everyone onto the lift and down we go!
Deep beneath the scholar's city shines a false sun within a fabricated sky. In any age exist those who consider the floor an extension of their bookshelves, and this vault's architects surely belonged to that special breed. If the stack grows too high, start a new one. If no room remains, then make more rooms. A simple solution at first, and then bit by bit, a profound transformation. Knowledge buried beneath knowledge, a growing, creeping labyrinth from which there is no escape.
The Northern Empty Labyrinthos. Now we just need a Minotaur and we'll call it a day.
Not what you expected.
I must admit, the artifice is very convincing. But I assure you that we are beneath Sharlayan itself. The breeze you feel, the flowing waters you hear, all created by the hand of man.
The island is volcanic, you see, and once upon a time this great hollow must have been a reservoir for magma. It was discovered some 400 years ago, at which point it was repurposed as a storage facility for scrolls and samples and such. Renovations have continued, with nigh on no interruption to this day, with the lower levels still undergoing expansion.
Aren't those people gleaners?
Aye, judging by their dress. They are said to work alone as a rule, but 'twould seem that rule is being enthusiastically broken today. It may be as you suspected, that they are engaged in a task apart from the norm.
Let's spread out and get some answers then.
Ugh. Did you call to me just now?
Nope.
No. How odd. I must be a bit dizzy from the descent. I'll be fine, I'm sure. Let's get to work, shall we?
How much longer until it's not fine? Hey, Kier.
Hey, and also the music just changed with the sun coming out.
Yes, the sun.
I don't like it. It sounds like a circus. And yeah, I know it's not a real sun.
What I'm doing, hauling books and ore and fauna. Needs hauling, I haul it. Every decade or so, they take stock in Labyrinthos. You know, sort and tidy up the inventory. Never seen an operation like this before, though. They did one just a few summers ago, even. Then, with no warning at all, this mess gets dropped in our laps. Orders from on high. Damn if I know the reason. Could be that they're changing the layout, eh? We're ready for the next big expansion. Ooh, sightseeing.
It's pretty too.
The Path of Artifice. Neat. Or just set me on follow.
That I did.
Huh. Let me think. The ray I see should be an item 1050A, Human sees 1059, Snurbbleberry 1060, or were they 1061? Ah, my head feels like it's stuck with Melco grass. Why more loads to take out than carry in? Why do all this at once and risk mixing it up? What if someone mistakes the coat and carrots for the Garabani carrots? What then? Alright, I should probably... Oh no. Do I have anything that needs mending? No, I'm good.
Don't you mend yourself?
No.
So you can get it... You should, so that you can get your mending to over 100%.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
Huh. Here to help her give me more headaches. Because you don't have the look of a Guina and I'm not in the mood for idle chatter. One of my colleagues was so exhausted he took a tumble and crashed into a pile of crates. I have a pack of marmots running loose. Hey, it's that guy from the Dawn Trail trailer. I guess he gleans for stuff in the New World or something. Kira, I think you're stuck.
Yep.
Any luck, Green? What tales does the Gleaners have to tell? Taking stock, large shipments, and exhausted Gleaners. So this grand operation began without warning, and for every item they bring in, they're spending more inventory somewhere else. Well, sending more inventory somewhere else. That would explain the haggard faces I've been seeing. You were right, the Forum is definitely up to something, and the turning labyrinth is upside down in the process. New airfield destination now accessible. We would do well to learn more what, specifically, the Gleaners are being tasked to do, as well as who has tasked them to do it. If you're game green, I have an idea. Didn't one of the Gleaners you questioned say something about escaped marmots? Perhaps if you were to help them capture said creatures, you might be inclined towards a more friendly and enlightening conversation. In the meantime, I will turn my charms upon this Gleaner here. We can compare notes afterwards. Happy hunting! Great, now we're also a rat catcher. Or marmot catcher.
Don't you just love having all these odd jobs?
Only when I can fight with them. You wish to help me find the marmots. I have nothing suitable to pay you for your services, but if you're offering out of the goodness of your heart, I'd welcome the assistance. Name's Aaron Mill, friend, specialist in collection of live specimens. That said, the capture of these Naxian marmots is a trial I have no desire to repeat. Grizzled mice, they call them. But mercy, there are no other marmot species on this tier at the present, so there should be no mistaking our little fugitives. If you happen to catch any, stuff them in the sack. Gently, of course. Where to begin, you wonder? I've not seen any scampering around here, so you'll need to widen our search into the surrounding forest. Be on your guard. There are beasts out there that won't hesitate to prey on a marmot. Or you. I'll search the trees to the west. The eastern part of the forest is all yours. Good luck.
That's a big bear boy. Oh, it's a troll.
Yep.
I think I found it.
Oh, where are ya? Ah, there you are.
Yeah. I guess we should be in the same party, huh?
Mayhaps. Barely have you ready to sack when a grizzled mouse scampers off into the underbrush. Squeak! Rat sack. A sturdy sack, supposedly large enough to hold one or more squirming marmots. The rodent nimbly evades your grasp before once more disappearing into the trees. I think that's where our aether current is. Or close enough to it anyway.
Very likely, yeah. Oh, it's up here. The aether current, I mean, not the goal. So go all the way up the hill.
What about the gold?
The aether current is up here.
Ah. Oh, you should not have jumped off.
Why?
Because the rat is up here.
It is? I didn't see it. Shit. Oh, I see it now.
I really need to reorganize this hotbar. There we go. That should be a little more organized. Chirp. Squeak, squeak. More prepare for its speed as time you succeed in closing the sack over your elusive quarry. That's your fare. Track down 3 in the pack, which leaves 1 unaccounted for. This sack holds the plump, wriggling form of one greatly annoyed grizzled mouse. Ah, there's the odd marmot out. Wait here a moment while I put your friends in a holding cage. Or our friends. Thankfully, the marmots seem to be unharmed. They've held up well in isolation, but it's much too soon to release them into the habitat. It's a good thing we were able to recapture them so swiftly. You have my thanks. Who tasked you to capture them in the first place? Why, the authority in charge of Labyrinthos, now and in perpetuity. The same officials who had us working day and night of late, the honorable members of the Forum. Who else? Suitable for consumption and easy to breed? Those were the 2 conditions I was given for the stock I was instructed to procure. Consumption? I don't know what
Eating.
Yeah, I know what they meant, but eating marmots? I don't know what the Forum has planned for these creatures, but at the very least, I doubt they'll be served for dinner today or tomorrow. Oh, maybe they'll be used to feed larger specimens. There you are, Green.
I was thinking some sort of arc kind of deal.
Maybe. Is this the Gleaner you mentioned? The one who was looking for lost marmots? Yep. Formerly lost marmots. Interesting company you keep, friend. Who are you folk, anyway? I am Kral, the students of Baldasian. These others are my associates. Truth be told, the Forum's decisions of late have not sat entirely well with us. That is why we made the descent into Labyrinthos. We hope that by seeing those decisions put into action, we might more fully understand their reasoning. Wise and practical. Never hurts to try and gain a broader perspective, does it? Anyway, duty calls. Other animals to capture and enclosures to empty. Once again, I'm sorry that I can't offer you more for your services. Did you learn anything new from your friend there? So we confirmed that the order for this ambitious operation did indeed come directly from the Forum. However, the Gleaners have not been informed of its purpose. I see that fits with everything we've heard thus far. We also discovered when the operation was begun. The Forum contacted the Gleaners guild ship and put their people to this great work for some 4 days after the Telephoid made a chilling declaration. As seasoned travelers, the Gleaners keep abreast of news from every corner of the world out of necessity. Thus I am inclined to trust that the calendar event is accurate. Altogether, it gives a distinct impression that this undertaking was a sudden and unexpected development. Yet I find it hard to believe that such a comprehensive restructuring of Labyrinthos and its archives could have been planned in so brief a window. Nay, this was a plan long in the making, but they were waiting for the right time to put it into effect. And the Telephoid's declaration was what set it all in motion. It seems likely, but let us not leap to conclusions just yet. For the moment, I suggest we conduct a wider investigation of Labyrinthos. The more facilities we visit, the more pieces of the puzzle we stand to find. In that case, how about we head to the Archaeon? From there we can reach the lower... Kral, what's wrong? I'm fine. Truly. The sudden descent has left me with a bit of a headache, that's all. Nothing that will stop me from soldiering on. Let's be about it then. No, it sounds like a keening sound to me. At least allow me to take the lead. I'm fairly certain I remember the way to the Archaeon. We follow the path east, through the forest where you were chasing after that mouse, or marmot was it? Anyway, there's the trolls you need to watch out for. I don't know, maybe you have the right idea, Kim. Maybe they are building a giant ark.
We shall see. Space Noah.
Yes. And they'll head for the moon to make a colony there.
When we talk about the flood, I wasn't thinking about the first.
What'd you say?
I was joking that the flood of light and Shadowbringers is the kind of flood that they're avoiding here. Not the same exact, but still.
Yeah.
I love how we have the same idea. A tune! Bye, guys.
Behold, the Archaeon. As Numenon serves as Sharlayan's literary archive, so does this structure house the city's wealth of material data. The architecture too is similar. This building you see is merely the upper entrance, an access point to the vaults carved into the cliffside itself. Within those vast rooms are stored countless samples and specimens, as well as the detailed records which describe them. In a manner of speaking, the Archaeon grants a physical history of Sharlayan's unwavering dedication to the accumulation of knowledge. Well, we won't learn anything of value standing out here. Let us proceed into the main building and speak with a custodian. Just gonna quickly attune to the 8th to right. Talk to the gem trader.
Oh, it's a froggy! And it's gone.
It's a Parago. The Shire custodian, the Shire armor from Edelshire. Like the ones you can get for tombstones.
Yeah.
Level 60 gear. Yeah. Probably
It
not
looks a little different though.
similar. Probably not a coincidence.
It's similar, but yeah. It's probably Charlian clothes that they're giving you, yeah.
Greetings. We are here to peruse the Archaeon's vaults. Clearly not gleaners. Might I ask your affiliation? I was given to believe that the vaults, those were open to public at least, were open to the public. Ordinarily, yes, that would be the case. At present, however, access is restricted. Only persons directly involved in the reorganization efforts are permitted to enter. Not us, then. I suppose we had better move along to another facility. This building has a lift which connects to the middle tier, yes? Might we at least make use of that? That service has also been suspended, I'm afraid. For the time being, priority has been given over to the conveyance of inventory. What? So this is as far as we can go? I apologize for the inconvenience. Please come again after our restructuring operation is concluded. By that time it will be too late. And we're so close to getting answers. We need to rethink our approach. Let us step outside for a moment, shall we? Students of Baldacion. But I doubt that our stone-faced custodian will be swayed by heartfelt pleas. We must seek another means to access the lower levels. It is likely that the people in this area are involved in the restructuring in one way or another. If we are to ingratiate ourselves, they might allow us to accompany them on the lift. Let us ask around. Surely someone is in need of a few strong backs to lighten the load. Ooh, Chocobo Key. Am I taking a lift? Oh, no, we're just students. They won't let us into the Archaeon even though we found... Actually, we have no idea what it is we found. There's no record of such a creature anywhere. But it was wandering around tranquility, and so we thought to donate it to the vaults. Honestly, the squeal, don't you think? Anyway, I suppose we'll have to take care of it until the Archaeon is open again. Oh, there's a person. What's that? Take it down on the lift with me. Sorry, no, but not a chance. I've been up and down all day, and only now have I finally found a spare moment to rest. I did see a gleaner fellow heading out the gate there, though, shouldering a large pack engaged in some manner of task. Maybe he'll be headed down below after he's done with whatever he's doing. How do I get up here?
Oh, there he is.
Where?
Where I'm at.
Ah. Oh, he's there. Quiet. I'll frighten it away. Ah, it's you again. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm in the middle of another task. The Cloudkin I need to capture is close. Very close. You should help me with this too. Spend your time in unusual ways, my friend. Still, 2 hunters are generally better than 1. Very well. The canal here is a common gathering spot for birds of all kinds. The one I'm after today is the hornbill. Feathers are green and cry a distinctive call. Single it out and shoot it with a sleeping dart. Effects are short-lived, so I'll lie and wait down by the riverbank to claim our quarry. Be sure to hit the right one. Searching around looking for the hornbill. So that's not the bird. Yeah, it was a big one.
Did you just shoot it right away without listening to its cough?
I saw it the first time.
Oh, that was your second time?
Yes.
Uh,
I was like, is that the right bird? Or is that the right bird? I didn't know if it was if he was talking about an actual call or just it was a sound that it made.
Nice Nicely done. Let me truss this one up, and I'll make my way over to you.
There you are. Any new revelations?
Oh, I shot a bird.
So you met with that gleaner again, this time to capture a hornbill. I understand catching and bringing in creatures from the outside, but what's the point of chasing after ones already here?
Oh, it's a simple thing, really. Occasionally, we remove specimens no longer needed for study, or those we've had difficulty raising. But we can't simply turn them loose. Safely returning such creatures to their native habitats is another facet of a cleaner's duties. But not in this case, I'm afraid. I've been asked to bring the bird below.
The restricted section in the lower levels of Labyrinthos. Open only to a select few researchers handpicked by the Forum. The projects down there are the subject of rumor and hearsay. Forbidden magics. Advanced technologies that can never be allowed to fall into outside hands. Even Archons are not privy to the truth. Those who are, the researchers involved in this secretive work, are not permitted to walk freely in the city, and are instead required to live in isolated quarters.
What could a facility subject to such strict security protocols possibly need with a hornbill? An experiment?
Possibly. I wasn't afforded an explanation. But judging by the requisition list given to me and my colleagues, I doubt it's for any kind of advanced research. I'd be more inclined to believe we were making preparations to migrate to the south. Mericidia or thereabouts.
What? Why would you say that?
Much of the flora and fauna we were asked to procure could serve as reliable sources of sustenance. They're comparatively hardy species, too, able to endure harsh climates. And among them are specimens known to be effective in improving soil quality and purifying water.
Oh, goddammit, it is an arc.
I guessed it.
Yes,
When you put
did.
it that way, migration does sound like a reasonable assumption.
That's all it is, though. An assumption. Through our tasks, we gleaners glimpse only bits and pieces of the Forum's plans. Our prime concern is that our requisitions, be they living or otherwise, are properly preserved for the knowledge of future generations.
I guess it would make sense why they brought up the tale of Newcraft with the whole arc and exile thing. Or resettling.
Now, I really must be
Metaphors and
going.
comparisons and whatnot.
I regret that I cannot reward you as you deserve.
Perhaps you might reward us after a fashion, then. It is imperative that we reach the lower levels. And seeing as you are already set to descend with your assigned cargo, mayhap we could accompany you as your assistants.
I'm afraid that won't be possible. Once the animals have been prepared for transport, we send them down separately via the lift. I will, of course, follow after to make my report, but I can hardly pass you off as porters when there's nothing left to carry.
Indeed. Pray forget I said anything.
How do you feel about climbing? If you've strength and the courage to brave it, then there is another way down. This path leads to the 33rd facet, a mine shaft excavated during one of our expansions of Labyrinthos. While I cannot guarantee that the passage is safe to traverse, it should provide access to the medial circuit below.
I never even knew such a place existed. Thank you. This is the perfect solution.
You're quite welcome. But consider yourselves warned. If the going proves too treacherous, you do well to turn back. I bid you good day.
Well, turning back is hardly an option, not when we've come this far. Let's go and take a look at this mine shaft.
Oh no, there's a triple triad in the Archaeon.
Oh god.
I'll have to come back for it. 463 yalms to the south, so probably in the mine shaft. The next Aether Current.
Yeah, I know. I heard you, and also I did it right before you spawned in.
Yep. Oh, that explodes on the NPCs. Now I just need to see if they're trying to go into space to see if I'm right. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This
We
must be...
shall see.
Hopefully. I mean, even the title for Endwalker just highlights that moon, so... Hopefully that's enough clues to be certain of it. This must be it. The entrance to the mine shaft. 'Tis faint, but I hear something moving within. Creatures homed there by the researchers, you think? Well, the slavering beast aside, we'll need to watch our footing. We should tighten our straps and such before we continue. Assuming everyone's tightened their straps and checked their gear, then I say we head in. Given the terrain ahead though, it might be wise to leave some distance between us. We don't want to be stumbling over each other if it comes to a fight. Take it slow and don't forget to check your surroundings from time to time. We can meet up again at the other end of the tunnel. Nice, how much damage is Pictomancer doing?
I wasn't paying attention.
Huh.
Am I doing a lot?
I think so. Also,
Huh.
is it? Where is this Aether Current? It might be where you are.
Yeah.
I thought it was in the
Or
other...
it might be in the next tunnel. I don't see it.
Okay, I'll go in the next tunnel then.
Oh, you don't want to do this first?
I'll come back to it. I'll be right there.
Well, fine, I'll kill it without you. God.
Yep, there it is.
It's probably gonna take us over there for the next destination anyway.
There's a non-zero chance it will do that.
So what made you do Paladin for this expansion?
I have been informed that Paladin is thematically appropriate for this expansion.
Ah, okay. Well, we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah.
It seems like it'd be most thematically appropriate for Heaven's Ward.
Nah, Heaven's Ward is a Dragoon expansion.
Ah, yeah, that's it. Sorry, I was thinking more of like, you know, all the church and stuff. Oh, that's a big boy over there. Is that an alpha? Or a beta or whatever? Yeah, it
Let me
is.
check. Which one?
There's a big group like thing, except with wings to
I see
the
it.
left. Yeah.
Everyone seems to have made it through without incident. Nothing of consequence, at least. And as promised, the tunnel has delivered us into the medial circuit. As I recall, this tier is where they keep a wide variety of samples for agricultural production. If Aaron Mill's assumption holds true, that specimens are being collected in preparation for a great migration, then we should see evidence of such plans in the area's research projects. Let's follow the path to the nearest farming facility and see what we see. Oh, that might be an A rank.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. B ranks tend to be more passive if I remember right. And that one is an aggressive one. You can tell by the icon next to their name.
I just know that icon is big boss scary by.
It usually depicts like an aggressive creature. I think. But yeah, you're also correct. Ah, yes, grapes. The infamous
Maple grapes. Oh, there's a lookout point,
Oh, nice.
but it's up on a roof.
Gotcha. Do we have? Is it a jumping puzzle roof or?
No, it's just on the roof.
Oh.
I mean, it could be, probably not.
I'll have to see. Aha! Now I know where we are. This is the Mariel Agronomics. Labyrinthos is host to a wide variety of vegetation, which allows us to conduct studies on cultivation methods utilized in foreign lands. And it is this facility which coordinates and oversees those efforts. The fruits of their research go to defeat the Labyrinthos colleagues, or so I hear. More notable successes might make it to the Agora. Foods so exotic you'd be hard-pressed to guess their origin, let alone how they might taste. Indeed! Mystery vegetables without a name with only a list of nutritional benefits scribbled on a card. I see no gleaners hereabouts, yet these workers seem to share that same sense of urgency. 'Tis possible they know something of the forum's plans and their underlying motivations. Worth looking into, wouldn't you say? See what you can coax from the workers. The rest of us will do the same or cast about for useful clues. So where on the roof is this point? Oh. What happened?
I went on the roof.
What'd you say?
I went on the roof.
Ah, you were carried there. Huh.
Yep.
Oh, hello there. You weren't expecting visitors. Not with the use of the lift being restricted. How did you make it down here anyway? Magic. Also our legs. A mine shaft, you say? Well, you're a much hardier soul than I. Under normal circumstances, I'd reward his tenacity with a guided tour of the fields, but I'm afraid the forum has us filling order lists a mile long. Massive yet detailed requests, literal wagon loads of crop samples, and hardly any time to put them together. When I first heard of this grand reorganization, I assumed we would be shuffling around old stock to make room for the new. Then came the orders for ridiculous quantities of seeds we've already thoroughly researched. Passing strange, eh? I pressed for an explanation and was met with vague assurances that all would be revealed in due course. Not the most satisfying answer. No, I don't see any climbable surfaces.
Yeah, you definitely have to fly there.
I'll do it after we get flight. Do I have ought to be taken down below? More than I can carry and then some. Most of our stock is sent off via the cargo lift. Some has been an earmark for aerial transport, hence a stack of crates on top of that hill over there. Gosh, hauling a lot up that slope was a job and a half. And I got a bot. What crops are we raising? Well, as you can see, this one is a variety of grape. Only needs a good source of sunlight to grow, and the conditions here are nothing short of perfect. Hardly surprising given that it's a native to a particular locale in the very place upon which Labyrinthos was modeled, a region in the south of Ilsabad. It boasts remarkable habitat diversity, allowing for myriad flora and fauna to thrive. Hilly peaks in the north give way to swaths of temperate plains, which in turn transition into a hot, humid coastline. Such bountiful territory is ever contested, as you might expect. It used to be called Corvus before the Imperials renamed it to Locus Amoenus. The Forum saw it not as a prize, however, but as a researcher's ideal environment, one whose climate we strove to recreate within confines of Labyrinthos. It has provided a rich foundation for countless experience in cultivation. Low poly grapes. Relatively. Oh, I forgot to talk to Alice. The labels on these crates tell the story of their contents. Bundles of common seeds and saplings accompanied by sheaves of reports. I wonder if the idea is that we would let ourselves be airlifted? Hiding ourselves in the crates or something? That would be a crazy idea.
It might be exactly what we do.
It might be exactly what we do. And I bet Y'shtola will suggest it.
Hard to look away, isn't it? But they're more than pretty flowers. Heart blooms are attuned to ambient emotion. You don't seem convinced, but believe me, it's true. This ashen grey, for instance, it mirrors the anxiety and urgency of those working nearby as they rush to fulfill sudden orders. Intense feelings like those spur the petals to change colour. Bright glowing hues in the presence of joy, dark subdued shades for frustration or despair. Yet even with the collected wisdom of Charlian at our disposal, we've yet to identify the underlying principle of this empathic effect. And there are other mysteries besides. Although the flower is extraordinarily long-lived, its low reproductive rate has made it difficult to find younger populations growing in the wild.
Mood flowers.
With too few sightings to map its distribution, and no closely related species to track, we've been unable to pinpoint its land of origin. To further complicate matters, every culture, even dimly aware of its existence, has given it a different name and mythos. Our attempts to study it via the historical record have been an exercise in frustration. As an avid botanist myself, I should one day like to unravel the Heartbloom's secrets. But I'm afraid other duties must take precedence. I will leave you to your thoughts.
Have you learned aught of interest?
I was just given a botany lesson. Does that count?
A flower that reacts to one's feelings? Strange. I must say, I have never heard of such a thing.
This is all very fascinating. But as it stands, we fail to gain any significant insight into the Forum's undertaking.
Indeed. While there is certainly enough activity to support Erenville's supposition that a priority has been placed on improving food production, unfortunately for our investigation, these workers were never informed as to how their duties serve the master plan.
If only we could interrogate the Forum members directly. Isn't that the entrance to the Archaean? Look, there. I think that's Erenville.
A little difficult to tell from here, but I think you're right. He did say he was coming down to make his report.
Erenville receives his orders from the Forum. Would it not follow, then, that the superior to whom he reports is a Forum member, or at least a close associate?
You mean to eavesdrop on their conversation? What of the risks?
Ours alone to bear. We won't interfere with Erenville's work, nor will he be implicated as an accomplice. If you're not comfortable taking part, I can do this alone.
Nay. I said myself that I wished to know Father's intentions. And no answers will be forthcoming should we simply ask nicely.
We can apologize later, should it come to it. Right now, we need every crumb of information we can get our hands on. Consequences be damned.
It might be best if you came along as well. In fact, we should all... Cryle?
Oh, yes. That certainly sounds like a plan.
I'm glad you agree.
Quickly! Erenville is on the move. We need to get closer before we lose him.
Almost. I can almost reach you.
Is Kryle still feeling unwell? I've never seen her so distracted. Erenville was headed westwards along a path outside the Archaeon. Come, we can still catch him. Back here.
Hello. Same mount, we...
Hold on a moment. I have an idea. If memory served, that colossal wall-like structure is the Logisticon Beta, one of Labyrinthos' climate control centers. It should have its own libs, with one which could access the upper or lower tiers. If I were an agent of the Forum, it would make for a convenient meeting place. But even if we happen to find Erenville no company as that agent, we cannot expect them to reveal issues of importance as we nonchalantly stroll past. Nay, we shall have to remain undetected. If only Graha and his vanish spell were here. Oh, but there are other ways of turning invisible. Hippity hop, my little toads. Goodness! Unaccustomed to transfiguration. Worry not, it will wear off with the passage of time. I suggest you and your green companions hop along and catch up with Erenville. Should you feel the magic's fading, return to me and I will refresh the enchantment. Yes, Square Enix has sent you a reward for a Dawntrail release. And what am I to do in the meantime? Wait here with me. In your current state of mind, you'd be likely as to leap into the jaws of a predator as you would learn of anything of note. Which reminds me, where are the creatures hereabouts? In that form, you are essentially defenseless. You're changed into a toad. You must remain transfigured in order to progress with quest objectives. You'll return from your transfigured status if you move too far away. Look to your map for the transfiguration's area of effect. Speak with Yashola or restore or prolong the transfiguration. It's a little cookie. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Alfie Toad and Alfie Toad are now accompanying you. Keep them at your side in order to proceed with the quest's objectives. You can
As
leave
I
your
said, sorry.
What?
As I keep saying, the English localization is the best localization.
Ah. You can leave your quest companion behind by entering a different area or by speaking with them and selecting the option to part ways. I would also like to teen a Masterline Magitech sculpture. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Ah yes, Transfiguration's area is a straight line. What do you mean get my own thing to want? Fine. Discuss your surroundings. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. Alfie Toad attempts and fails to shake his head, but you nevertheless understand that he's telling you this is the wrong way. Ribbit, 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 ribbit. Alfie Toad turns to face the north. Perhaps she's suggesting you cross the bridge. I can't believe they put that there just to tell me that I'm going the wrong way.
Yeah, it's pretty rude.
Let's just hope we're not caught as specimens.
I trust you will find your compensation to be more than satisfactory. We wish to make clear that we are pleased with the efficiency and thoroughness of your work. So much so that we have come bearing new tasks in need of your competent hand.
Another lengthy list. If I may speak frankly, the Gleaners have been pushed to the point of collapse by your unending demands. We are not familiars to be exploited. We are Sharlayan scholars, and we deserve an explanation for this unseemly treatment. What warrants such urgency?
In an age long past, Sharlayan was charged with a momentous duty. And now that word of the final days hangs heavy in the air, the time has come for us to fulfill that charge. I can say no more, but I promise you this. All will be revealed in due course. And when it has, you will understand that your toil was in service to the greatest good.
Then I will do your bidding. For now. But unless you wish the Gleaners to rise up in protest, I advise you to offer tangible improvements for our working conditions. Your promised revelation does nothing to address present circumstances.
A fair point. Your concerns will be conveyed to the Forum.
crap, we're on the list.
I hope that was informative. You may consider my debt to you repaid in full.
Oh.
While I do have my reservations about the Forum, I want to believe that they have our best interests at heart. Which is why I'm reassured that you're busy sniffing out the truth of things. We can ill afford to place all our eggs in one basket, this master plan of theirs, without first understanding the risks involved.
Wait! How did you know it was us?
Maybe he saw that we're not a native species here.
If you mean to impersonate a toad, try studying the real thing. And don't try to fool an expert.
Ah. Okay, let's go back and blame Y'shtola.
Perfect.
I suppose we should have known a gleaner who specialized in animal procurement would not be so easily deceived. Yet he seemed inclined to put his trust in us all the same. More pertinently, perhaps, we discovered a new piece of the puzzle, this momentous duty the Forum agent mentioned. Charlian has been called to action, and the Telophore Declaration was a catalyst. Whatever charge it is they hope to fulfill, they deem it of sufficient import to disrupt all of Labyrinthos, not to mention ignore Eosia's request for aid. What duty could warrant the direct involvement of the Forum and the commitment of all its resources? Judging by what we just heard, none of the gleaners were offered any kind of explanation. At this point, it seemed abundantly clear that we'll learn nothing new by pressing them further. We should head back to Y'shtola and Crow for the moment, see what they think of this. Oh look, Aether Current quests.
Huzzah! Also, that one person we've been seeing doing the same quest as us ran past on their still toad.
Huh.
I didn't know you'd be seen as a toad to others.
I guess it's technically like a buff in the overworld. You
Yeah.
know how we got those transfiguration buffs during Halloween events? I guess it would kind of work like that.
Yeah.
We're heading back to Y'shtola. The
But
why?
you don't see, like, followers and stuff.
And it's spelled like that. Y apostrophe
Oh,
Y'shtola.
and we just saw someone turn into a toad.
Ah. Pet the frog. Welcome back. I trust you found Arenville then. Yes, and he said your transfiguration needs some work. Interesting. I had a feeling you would learn something important, even if that something was simply a confirmation that no one knows much of anything. We should share this with Kryl, then discuss how we'd like to proceed. Assuming we find her back at the farm. She was still behaving oddly, so I bade her return and rest there. Perhaps not the best decision in hindsight. Would you mind checking near those flowers she was so entranced by? The rest of us can survey the more distant areas just in case she decided to wander. Yeah, I guess we're going back to look for those flowers then. I think we're on the hill.
And they were on the hill.
Yep. This away, probably.
I was just double checking this hill. This hill's not it. It's probably the hill you went to.
Right next to the heart blooms. Cryo, no, you're damaging a precious specimen.
For you. The spell will keep it from wilting. She said you would need it for the journey ahead. Will you speak with her now? I cannot hope to match Minfilia's clarity, of course, but...
Thank you. Do not worry. She has lent me her body for only a moment. Just as I could not save the first from the flood of light, it has become arduous for me to interact with the physical world without assistance. Though I might converse with you for a time, the incorporeal form I assumed on the ship would be incapable of casting even the simplest enchantment. It is in the depths of the ethereal sea, the place to which all life returns, where my influence is greatest. After Minfilia's sacrifice on the first, it was to the sea, here in the source, where I ferried her soul. I wished that gentle spirit to find rest in the world she loved so well. Her, and another who may yet have a part to play, though that will depend on you. Take the flower, walk free, for you are free to go where you wish, to believe what you will. That bloom will be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. In darkness, seek joy. Surrender not to sadness, and see beyond despair. Walk free, and bear the light for others to follow. Together, raise it aloft and let it shine, till the end, blinding and radiant.
Was all too brief. Already she seems so far away. My apologies if I startled you. Ever since we began our descent into Labyrinthos, I had sensed another's will, straining to reach out. Even with my particular talents, though, I was unable to make a connection at first, so weak and tenuous it was. Once I took hold of that wispy thread, imagine my surprise to discover it was Heidelin herself. Needless to say, it seemed wise to learn what we could before letting go. Her answers were more cryptic than I would have liked, but at least she left us with a guide of sorts, that unusual flower. Yes, we are definitely making progress.
You can't be serious! We've done nothing wrong!
Yeah, who's gonna believe that we turned into toads?
Master Fortuno, what business has the Forum with us?
Obstruction and suppression, apparently.
Mistress Baldessian, our records show you facilitated the Scions' entrance into Sharlayan by claiming them as assistants for your organization.
Technically, we are still helping her out with Eureka. So it still counts.
We are aware of your investigations. After alerting the major institutions to the presence of potential troublemakers, we received word from an Archean custodian, a group operating under the auspices of the students, skulking about Labyrinthos and engaging in clandestine behavior.
Clandestine? We may not have entered Sharlayan as Scions, but we did naught to conceal our identities. Our only purpose in this city is to seek the truth. I can think of no reason why our actions should warrant the Forum's intervention.
'Tis not our way to discourage the pursuit of knowledge, but the timing of such pursuits must be considered, not to mention their potential impact. With the world in chaos, we, the true caretakers of wisdom, have committed ourselves to an undertaking that demands the utmost discretion. And we will not risk its success by turning a blind eye to disruptive foreign elements in our midst.
What, then, is to be our fate? Will you put us on a ship back to Eorzea?
The Forum will convene to examine your case. The results of said inquiry will determine your future in this city. As for your absent companion, he has already been detained.
Grah! But why? Is reading a crime now, too?
Reading is encouraged, celebrated even. Not, however, of the volumes shelved in the restricted section of the library.
Refusing to comply will only make matters worse. Let us instead treat this as an opportunity to open a dialogue with the Forum.
Silence is often one's best defense. I would advise against prolonging the proceedings with frivolous discourse.
We have the right to remain silent.
But enough. This is not the place for debate. The rostra await.
Anything we say can and will be used against us.
Forgive me. I was careless.
We would have been detained regardless. This way, at least, we managed to stay together. I trust your time within the Forbidden Archives was well spent.
The Forum will come to order! This inquiry is now in session. As Speaker-elect, I will be presiding over the day's proceedings. Master Fortuno, would you be so kind as to restate the matter which compelled you to summon your colleagues with such urgency?
As you are all aware, we recently denied Eorzea's request for Sharlayan assistance. Since then, certain individuals dissatisfied with our decision have taken it upon themselves to interfere with our work. They entered our nation masquerading as associates of the students of Baldessian. But these malcontents are better known as the Scions of the Seventh Dawn.
Come again?
Krill has her hair up.
Yeah. Well, more accurately, she has her hoodie down.
These militants wield influence with both the Eorzean and Eastern alliances, and are inextricably involved with the crises presently afflicting the world at large.
Only as reactionary, though.
Loose in our city, these warmongers sought to meddle with and expose matters of state secret. What are they, if not a dire threat to be expelled?
You have tarnished the good name of the students. Galuf would be ashamed.
Galuf Baldessian was never one to forsake his fellow man. Even if this nation closed every door and retreated from the world, he would have found a way to help the Scions, help every soul of this star fight back against the coming doom.
A terrible enemy stands poised to lay waste to all we hold dear. In the face of such madness, Eorzea reached out to Sharlayan, a respected ally, in the hopes of forming a united front. Was your curt dismissal truly the best you could offer? Or are you so preoccupied with your momentous duty of an age long past that even the end of the world is unworthy of your attention?
Whence came this revelation?
From the mouth of a forum member within fortuitous earshot.
Then it seems your findings support my own. The reason I visited the restricted shelves was to study records of the Forum's policymaking process, to better understand the historical trends underlying their most major decisions.
I like how they're just not stopping us from sharing information between ourselves.
At first glance, the positions of neutrality in war and the accumulation of knowledge above all else appear constant and consistent, the unchanging pillars of Sharlayan society. And once upon a time, I might have left it at that. These days, however, I am more attuned to the subtleties of governance, and so I noticed something odd. From a particular point in time, the purpose of these policies shifted. No longer was knowledge preserved for the benefit of society. Rather, society was to be gradually reshaped to ensure the preservation of knowledge. The most conspicuous and telling change was the one which befell Labyrinthos. Once little more than an oversized storehouse, an enormous allocation of funds saw it transformed into an advanced research and archival facility. I also discovered a fascinating account on the finances of our Dravanian colony. The settlement attracted students from far and wide, and the connections and tuition fees thus acquired were funneled into further improvements for the archives. Now, there is no question that our nation's progress is tied to the acquisition of wisdom. Nevertheless, the vast resources diverted for this purpose borders on the obscene. But returning to the matter of when, our change in course appears to have been made some 270 years ago.
The very same period when Sharlayan scholars in the hinterlands began a formal study of the ethereal sea. You found something, did you not? And whatever it was, gave rise to your oh-so-important duty.
Mind your tongue, Archon. If you had seen...
Yes. We are bound by a duty we cannot ignore. Knowing this, what would you have us do? Abandon our vital work and join you on the field of battle? We will never choose the way of the sword. We will fulfill our mission, not through strife and bloodshed, but survival. Come what may, we shall live on. We must.
Do as you must, then. But we Scions will fight until the heavens fall, until our last breath.
Such misguided zeal.
Father, Master Fortuno, I fail to understand the stance you have elected to take. But by the same token, I have yet to find a compelling argument to counter the challenge you put to us in Gridania. Still, in the midst of my uncertainty, I must trust in myself to do what is right, as others have chosen to trust in me. So I will continue, as I always have, weighing the consequences of my every action, and allowing my hope for the future to inform my decisions.
That's quite enough. Have you all forgotten the reason for this assembly?
Skolok Monteshane. He's the head of the Studium and an old friend of my grandfather's.
Honestly, every discussion devolves into some interminable debate. Terrible habit. Let's return to the topic at hand, By their own admission, these Scions have resolved to fight alongside the Eorzean nations against the doom which swift approaches. But there exists no evidence of an attempt to incite our citizens to do the same. Furthermore, while our decision may well have been the correct one, we cannot simply bull our way through these disagreements without inviting doubts or objections. Put yourselves in their place. Who among you would leave a tome unopened if an elder forbid you read it with no reason given? No. If we're to quell further discontent, then we must conclude this matter with a fair and even hand.
Order! We will have order! Master Monteshane raises some valid points. Keeping such concerns in mind, I propose we enforce the following measures. Until further notice, the students of Baldesion are to cease any and all activities within the domain of Sharlayan. You will also refrain from any further investigation into the Forum's decisions and duties. Failure to comply with these restrictions will result in the immediate expulsion of your Scion associates. Let us put this judgment to a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. I count 51 for and 48 against. The proposal is passed. Students, scions, you have heard the Forum's judgment. Pray abide by it, or face the consequences.
Hooray, democracy.
Honored members, I thank you for your time. This inquiry is concluded.
Well, at least we've been allowed to remain in the city. And our endless investigation had not been in vain. We now know that this mysterious duty of theirs began with whatever the Forum discovered in the Ethereal Sea. With our freedom so sorely curtailed, however, we will struggle to learn aught more of substance here in Sharlayan. The overall picture has grown clear, yes, but that's in spite of the Forum being so maddeningly vague about this duty of theirs. Why are they so reluctant to explain their actions in plain words? Survival, come what may. His father's work so vital that it takes precedence over his own family. Alphino, Alice, it is you. And I heard you've been dragged before the Forum. I came as swiftly as I could. I am so very glad they allowed you to stay. But, Mother! Ameliance Leveilleur, at your service. And you fine people must be the scions of the Seventh Dawn. How lovely it is to finally meet you. Mother, please, we don't wish to make things difficult for you. If word reaches father that you were here... Oh, bother that. Am I to be chastised for speaking with my own children? I am well aware that you and Master Fortunat are not on the best of terms at the moment, but I've been absolutely desperate to see my darlings again. You will come by the house, won't you? I have gifts waiting. The timing couldn't be better. As matters stand, we shan't be going anywhere until we discuss matters with Thancred's group and reconsider our options. Go, visit your home. We'll be back at the annex when you are ready to rejoin us. I'm not sure we... Green, what do you think? Green? The green slime? What a splendid day this has turned out to be! Champion Eorzea, I insist that you join us! Sure? But we must be quick about it. Not for my own benefit, but should my husband return and find you enjoying our hospitality, the servants will be made to suffer the consequences. Green, if you will be so kind to escort my children to the estate. And then she was gone, and with her any opportunity to protest. Indeed, the matter is settled. Enjoy yourselves, you three. I apologize. My mother is not one to take no for an answer. Still, I am glad, relieved even, to see her in such high spirits. What say you, Green? Though it seems we shall have some enough time. Though it seems we shall have little enough time to enjoy it, will you accompany us on our visit home? Fine. If we're going, let's get it over with. Be sure to stay in the entrance hall. No peeking into our private chambers, thank you very much. Why ever not? Your room was always perfectly neat and tidy. Everyone has things they'd rather keep to themselves, don't they? Cherished mementos you couldn't bring yourself to throw away, childhood's toys. I mean, never mind. The Levea estate is that way, straight down the stairs. Come on. Alice and I were little, this bridge was as far as we were permitted to wander alone. I say alone, but my mother or a servant was always somewhere nearby, keeping a watchful eye. Now look at us, traveling to different continents, different worlds even. As children, Alphinaud and I would often wait here for our father to come home from work. It must have been a day when his meetings ran long, because I remember growing restless and leaning out over the railing to watch the water rush by. Father, of course, arrived at that exact moment, came pounding down the path in a panic, crying out my name. Ooh, look out. Oh, yes, this is where I first practiced magic on an actual person. Alice had fallen, you see, and scraped her knee quite badly, so I tried casting a simple restorative spell I had only just learned. How she smiled when the wound closed, the joy and relief. That was, I believe, the very moment I chose healing arts as my main subject of my studies. We used to come here all the time with grandfather. In summer, I would dip my hands and feet into the fountain and splash about. Not Alphinaud, though. Even back then, he wasn't very fond of playing in water. He'd make any excuse to avoid it. Which would explain how I came to swim like an auk and he sink like a stone. And here you are at last. Please, do come in.
Welcome home, my lady.
Oh, it's the butler uniform in the cash shop.
What? What are you gawping at?
Scion headquarters must seem squalid indeed.
I'll have you know I'm quite fond of the Rising Stones.
Lord Fourcheneau is not to hear of this visit. And I should also like the children to have their gifts, ere my husband makes his return.
As you wish, my lady.
Master Alphinaud, Mistress Alice, if you would accompany me upstairs.
We shan't be long.
The twins have been sending letters home from time to time, recounting their latest adventures. I am sure they withhold certain details, of course, if only to keep me from worrying. Yet a mother worries all the same. In the early days especially, I tried to support them as best I could, sending the Scion's coin and other such donations. Fortunately, they have found the strength to overcome adversity time and time again. Their words grow more confident with every letter, their depictions more vivid. The triumphs and defeats, the joys and sorrows. It is clear that they have come to find value in every experience. But of those they treasure most, it would seem that meeting you might be the most impactful. Why, since that fateful day, I do believe there has not been a single missive in which you were not mentioned by name.
We do a lot of things.
'Tis plain they care for you, and I am glad they have such a steadfast companion watching over them. Under normal circumstances, I would offer you tea, but alas, these are anything but. In any event, why don't you keep me company whilst we await my children's return? Perhaps you might regale me with a tale or two of your exploits.
Great, let me tell you about the time where everyone had their souls taken out and trans-isekai'd into another world. That was certainly an expansion. Ooh, new outfit.
When you mentioned gifts, I wasn't sure what to expect. Mother,
Oh, look how well it fits you. And the style is to your liking?
It's perfect. Exactly what I would have chosen. But please, tell me you had something different made for Alphino.
Naturally. You are hardly little children anymore. And while I shall miss dressing you in those precious matching outfits, I must respect the individuals you have grown to become.
It's fine, they'll still get confused
See
with
for
the other,
yourself.
regardless of outfit differences.
Thank you for the splendid clothes, Mother. Stylish, comfortable, and eminently practical.
I am so glad you like them. They are, however, missing one final touch.
If you would allow me, Master Alphino.
Oh. Those are sage weapons.
Wait. Are these...
A sage's tools
That's
of the
strange.
trade. They belonged to your father. Though he may as well be chained to his desk these days, as a student he was often called upon to venture into the field. He wielded those armaments, both to heal and to harm in no few battles. None so fierce as those you two have braved, perhaps, but battles nonetheless. Thus did I pull them out of storage, to show you that he was not always the man who stands in vehement opposition to you now. And also because it would be a terrible waste of ridiculously expensive House Leveilleur commissioned artistry. I am told these devices are quite difficult to master. But someone of your extensive experience should soon have them darting about with grace and aplomb. May the wisdom in that crystal serve you well. And please, try to find common ground with your father, that you might come and go without need for this awful subterfuge.
We will, Mother. I promise.
My final gifts to you, before you run off, are an observation and a suggestion. Firstly, Fortuno has ever been a serious man, but it was only after you were born that he truly lost himself in his work. I may not know the Forum's inner workings, but I know your father's. The timing of that change in him holds some significance. Secondly, do not seek to best your father with words. Far better that you simply show him. Let him discover the merit of your actions, after they cannot be undone.
I think we know who Alice takes after now.
Please say with that outfit.
I was more speaking personality-wise, but...
I'm teasing.
Alphino has now gained guns.
We shall take your wisdom to heart. Thank you again for these gifts, and farewell for now.
Safe travels, my children. Eat well, stay warm, and keep your friends close.
And for the record, Lisa's outfit had way more belts.
I'll be right back.
Okay. And that was that. Only the gods know when we'll be back again. Thank you for indulging Mother's request. I can see it meant a lot to her. And I shall refrain from inquiring as to the content of your private conversation. Opposite was all too brief, for now. However, it will have to suffice. As will these tokens of a home that we carry with us, these gifts to help us remember who we are and whence we came. But enough sentimentality. Let us return to the annex and rejoin our companions. Oh, right. Yeah, you're right.
Return.
Welcome back. Enjoyed your time with the Levias, I hope. I would ask how the twins fared, but their new outfits tell the tale. I only hope we can help them to reconcile with their father, that they might return home one day with their heads held high. In the meantime, we edge ever closer to the secret the Forum strives to hide, and the flower bequeathed to you by Heidelin is sure to guide us going forward. I'm confident that once we heard your report from Tavnia, we'll be well equipped to plot our next move. Ooh, I learned Holy Shiltron. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break.
See you.